Time now for This Week in Auto History, Mr. Morris.
Where are we at, Michael?
Yes, sir. We found a few things that we thought were really interesting this week in auto history. Starting in May the 3rd, 1919, W.O. Bentley officially founded Bentley Motors. His idea was to build a fast car, build a good car, and make it the best in class. And what they did to get their reputation going for their engineering excellence, they went out and did endurance races like Le Mans, and they even made it to the Indy 500 in 1922. And this is the type of activities that built up their creds inside the market. And even today, it's much respected as a handcrafted British luxury performance automobile. Then in May the 4th in 1904, we often talk about the Oldsmobile curved dash vehicle that Ransom Olds brought out. It was it's one of the first mass-produced automobiles. It was a lightweight runabout, single-cylinder engine, made it very reliable. But the thing was that a lot of his assembly techniques actually predated Henry Ford's moving assembly line. So he proved that you could build a car efficiently. And one of the things that helped this thing get started, it was actually a fire in 1901. All the prototypes for the new Oldsmobiles burned except for the curved dash runabout. So by it being the only survivor, they built 2,500 in 1902 of them. And that's what really kicked it off. And they built 19,000 total before it went out of production. Then
sounds arson.
Then on May the 5th, 1964, now we were talking again about the Mustang. We talked about before how the Mustang rollout was so successful that they sold 1 million of these things the very first year. But one thing I did not know, along with the World's Fair and the nationwide dealership rollout to where everybody showed at the same time, 3 weeks after that, Mustang was to be the pace car for the 64 Indianapolis 500. So it got a lot of attention there. And then they also launched the pace car edition immediately right behind that. And that even drove more traffic to the showrooms. And that's part of the ways that they ended up selling 1 million of these the very first year it rolled out.
Wow.
May the 5th, 1925, Chrysler introduces the four-wheel hydraulic brakes. We were talking earlier about the wire brakes versus the hydraulic. So Chrysler was very much into technology and trying to push new things out into the marketplace, particularly improving on the mechanical braking systems. And then coming up in May the 7th, 1946, I thought this was very interesting. The Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering Corporation was founded. Now, that sounds like a mouthful, but what happened was in 1958, this actually became Sony, the very famous Sony electronics company that went on to influence automotive technology with radios and cassette players, CDs, nav systems, things that we're still having things from Sony show up in our cars today. So they really made a big deal, big impact on the automobile industry. May the 7th, 1998, this is terrible. Mercedes-Benz announces the Chrysler merger. What was listed publicly as being a 50-50 deal, that they were both going to be co-equal partners. Immediately, the lawsuits had started because it was reality of Mercedes-Benz was taking over Chrysler. And Chrysler was into it because they were in a bind and they wanted to they wanted to survive is what it amounted to. So this merger lasted 7 years before all the lawsuits were about over, and it kind of dissolved back into Chrysler and Mercedes-Daimler. Finally, in May the 8th, 1984, Chrysler introduces the minivan, the Dodge Caravan and the Plymouth Voyager. And this really revolutionized family transportation with a modern minivan. The station wagon was still available, but this was so much more user-friendly with the front-wheel drive, the sliding side doors, car-like handling. It actually handled a lot better than most station wagons. So it quickly became a suburban staple. And even today, a lot of companies use these for moving people around at events and stuff because it's so easy to get in and out of. Mm-hmm. And that's some of the things we found this week in automotive history.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect.